Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have an almost Christmas story. This is a short, in a sense. It's 22 minutes long, 25 minutes long, so it's not really a short, but it's kind of an episode. Like I say, it's an episode of a half-hour episode, if you had commercials with it, maybe. But in this case, we have a single story that, again, almost might be a Christmas story. Why? Well, I mean, it has all the hallmarks of a Christmas story. It has certain elements that you might think of as Christmassy. That's snow or trees, or music, owls. John C. Reilly. So, John C. Reilly, you get to hear John C. Reilly sing. If you don't know who he is, well, you've seen him in a number of movies. Step Brothers with Will Ferrell always usually shows up in Will Ferrell movies, and plenty of his own. He was in Chicago, where he sang a lot. He's also Dewey Cox, that story. I can't remember the full name of it. Probably shouldn't say the title of it, if I'm thinking correctly. But he's the star of that film, and he does a lot of singing in that as well. He does a lot of movies where he's not singing, and TV shows and things like that. But it's great to hear him singing in this. But this is mainly the story of a very small owl named Moon, and he. I don't want to give too much away. I know this. There's a little bio right here that pretty much sums up. Oh, okay. Well, no, actually, it doesn't. It doesn't give away the reason why this little owl ends up in New York City. And from what I can remember, this might actually be based on a true story. No, it wasn't. It didn't happen like this. But there's a lost little owl in New York City at some point, I think. You have to look it up. But one of the most interesting things about this is it's done by Titmouse Animation along with Mara Productions. Titmouse, we know from a number of different things, everything from the Venture Brothers to Lower Decks, Star Trek Lower Decks. And let's see, there's so many different things. I can't think of all of them offhand, but they're a very prominent production company that does animation of all types. And this, I can't really tell for sure, but it seems to be constructed fully out of like cardboard, paper, maybe even some wood carvings and maybe glass, or it could all just be animated to look like that. I have no idea, but the aesthetic of the way the characters are built and how they move around and the environments in which they live or exist, the way New York is depicted or a forest is depicted, is done in a way that we don't generally see. And that's, to me, it's exciting. It's a new way of seeing things. They could have just hand drew it, could have done a 3D animation thing. They could have, it looks like stop motion. It looks like it's all done with paper and wood and cardboard and everything else. And that level of detail is just alone makes it worthwhile checking out. It actually depicts a very realistic New York City and how it's put together. But when this little owl comes across a little girl named Luna, Moon and Luna, they go on a little bit of an adventure together to try to find a way home for each of them. And all the little owl, who's very curious about shiny things, all that little owl can think of is that tree that he was last in. So if you were following what I'm saying here, you might have figured out how the little owl got to New York City, because it's a Christmas story. But that's not the reason why. Beyond John C. Reilly, you also get Jim Gaffigan, Natasha Lyonne, a number of, the little owl is voiced by Carrie Christopher. Adorable voice. Adorable little voice. I'm sorry, Carrie, if you're like 15 now. This is just made this year. It's from 2024, 25 minutes long. It's new. I am pretty sure he's not aged, 15 years since this thing was made. I have no idea, but it does take a while for these things to get made. So who knows? And so it's, but he's got the perfect voice for a tiny little owl. So, but yeah, you'll recognize a number of voices in this, and it's pretty fantastic. Yeah, directed by David Lowery, and written by Jack Thorne. And Jack Thorne, I don't know why they have him listed as the writer and the person who wrote the teleplay, but I guess you got to get your credit where you can. So yeah, I honestly, this is an unconventional story. It's brand new to Disney Plus. This is something definitely worth checking out. It's not going to have an overly sappy or overly Christmassy story. Technically, it doesn't fit along the same lines as every other obvious Christmas story that's out there. It's not aimed towards children, and it's not aimed just towards adults or anything. I think everybody can enjoy this. This is the kind of thing, if I saw this as a kid, I would just be blown away. Kind of like the Rankin Bass kind of stuff back in the day with Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's a kind of a tradition to have Christmas type stories told in stop motion. And this is a different looking type of stop motion. If it is even stop motion, well, again, cameras can play tricks on us. It feels like stop motion. And I even went to the Disney press site to find anything that would clarify this for me as to how it was animated. There's nothing. I should have went to the Titmouse site, but I did not. But yeah, I only realized the Titmouse thing just as I was about to start. So, oh well. Definitely. This is one of the most highest recommended things I can suggest you to watch. I want to watch it again. It's just fantastically done. So I already have. This is part of our run of Christmas stories, running this whole 12 days up to the 25th. So our next one is literally A Christmas Wish. It has the most generic Christmas movie name ever. And yes, it's a movie. And yes, it's one of those movies. Just like I warned you back with Snowed In Christmas. It's one of those Hallmark Channel type movies. And I know you shouldn't call them Hallmark Channel movies, but again, they cornered the market on that kind of stuff. And so we're all using that as a reference. It's like calling tissues Kleenex, even though Kleenex is just one brand of tissue. This is a different brand of those romantic Christmas movies. And A Christmas Wish is another one of them. It just shows two white people in the picture smiling, and it's Christmas. So what else could it be? All right, A Christmas Wish is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.